We love Mexican carnitas with surprisingly few ingredients. This pork is so tender, so delicious, and so full of flavor, you'd be surprised. Hey everyone, I'm Flo. Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. We hope that you are having a great start to the new year, and hopefully this year will be better than last. When I was younger, my only exposure to Mexican food was like a Taco Bell or Taco Time or whatever, one of those fast food taco places. When we moved to San Francisco and discovered a whole different world for Mexican food, our eyes were opened. I'm starting off with 2 pounds of pork shoulder, or it's also called pork butt. And this is actually a really nice roast. I actually feel bad cutting into it. We're gonna cut the pork shoulder into 1.5 inch chunks. Oh my goodness, look at the marbling in here.
Oh,
it's beautiful. We found a butcher that we are now buying meat from instead of Costco because we're finding that the price is actually comparable and the quality of meat is so much better.
So you Vancouverites, go to Columbus Meats. It's good.
So you want your pieces to be about this size. Or if you wanted to cook it faster, you actually can cut it into smaller pieces. But I'm just used to cutting it into this size. In Vancouver, we just don't have that many Mexican restaurants, and the ones that are here, there's more now, which is great, and they are really good. But you can also make this, well, I've been doing this for quite some time now, making this at home, and the flavors are not super authentic, I don't believe, but it still makes a very delicious meal. The kids love it. It makes it into our regular rotation. And when it's Carnitas night, they're just like, yay, it's so exciting. I have about a tablespoon of kosher salt here, and I'm just going to salt it all before I put it into the pot so that we can get some of it all over. It is a lot of salt, but this is practically your only seasoning. So the original recipe is actually in the first cookbook, and I have even fewer ingredients. And we have loved eating it that way for years. But I thought we would try to bump it up a notch by adding some additional ingredients that I've been seeing in other carnitas recipes. And, you know, I believe carnitas is one of those recipes that every family has their own version, or every region has their own version of this. So if you stick with the basic ingredients, I think you're still going to come out with a really, really tasty carnitas. I used to make this on the stovetop, and it used to take hours, like 3-4 hours to make. But now with the electric pressure cooker, it only takes like half an hour to 45 minutes of pressure cook time. So it really cuts the time to make this by at least half, if not more. The original recipe is just salt, garlic, and a bay leaf with some water, and that's it. But today we're going to add some oregano. So about a teaspoon of oregano. And an onion. I'm just going to cut into 8s and throw it in there. One bay leaf, and I'm going to say 4 to 5 cloves of garlic that I'm just going to smash. And my orange. So I'm going to juice it first.
Oh, look at that. I picked great oranges.
You are an awesome orange picker.
At the supermarket.
We want about half a cup of liquid, so see if we can get half a cup of orange juice here. Okay, that's close enough because we know there's more juice in here. So what I'm going to do actually is just toss this orange in there. And we're going to pour our orange juice there as well. And that's it. Okay, put your lid on, lock it into place, making sure the sealing knob is on sealed or sealing. And we're gonna cook it for 45 minutes. I like it super tender. You can cook it for as little as 30 minutes if you like. How come I still don't know how to operate this thing? 30 minutes. 45 minutes, high pressure. And that is it for now. Once the pressure cooking is done, you can release the pressure by quick release. And let's see what we've got. Wow, looks yummy. Smells delicious. I can smell the orange when it was cooking. So I'm just gonna remove some of the things, the orange, well, the orange halves, and the bay leaf. I know Dude likes the garlic in there, so I'm just gonna leave that.
Yep.
So what you can do at this point is take the meat out and lay it on a sheet pan and put it under the broiler. But what I like to do is let it cook in its own fat for a little while longer. So I skim off the fat and I put it into a Dutch oven, only because I find with a frying pan even, it splatters so much. So this keeps the splatter down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add this here. Now there are some juices in there too, which will eventually evaporate or boil off. Okay, once you get enough in here, you can just start to heat up and add more as you go. And we're going to do this on medium heat. If you don't want to use the fat, you can always just use vegetable oil, but really it's the fat that crisps up the meat that gives it the extra flavor. And start moving the meat over. Drain it as much as possible because you want the meat to crisp up in the fat, but you also want the liquid to evaporate. And the more liquid you add, the longer it's going to take. So try to drain your meat and then let the rest evaporate. You don't have to keep the onion in there if you don't want, or the garlic. It's up to you. Okay, so we're going to wait for all of this liquid to evaporate, and you will start to hear the sizzling of the meat once it starts to crisp up. So it took about 5 minutes to get it to this point, less than 5 minutes to boil off the liquid, and you can hear it sizzling in that fat now. That's where you're going to get all the extra flavor from. I left them on a little bit too long, got sidetracked. So at this point you want to start mushing up the meat a little bit and just let it keep cooking for another minute or two. To get the caramelization off from the bottom, just add a little bit of liquid. So once it gets to this state where it's kind of falling apart and you've crisped it up enough, you can tell by the change of color, then it's ready to eat. It only took about 2 to 3 minutes to really get a good sear on the bottom of the meat, and then breaking it up will give you this. All right, check this out, guys. Doesn't look like much, but it'll be really filling. You eat 3 of them, like Dude is about to do. Okay, adding some chopped onions. I don't know if Dude wants more than that, but he can add more if he likes.
Yeah.
And some cilantro. And remember, guys, if you don't like cilantro or you don't like raw onions, don't add it. Just add what you like to eat. And I'll let Dude squeeze the lime on top. Are you all ready for?
Yep. Wow, dudes. It must seem like I'm excited about every single time that I do the taste. Oh, I forgot. the taste. We haven't been to one of the local taquerias in quite some time. Being able to do the food at home is so good. We picked up these corn tortillas at a local market and they're fresh. A little bit of raw onion, a little bit of cilantro. I'm gonna squeeze some lime in here, keep it simple. I'm gonna try not to drop it all over the place. Oh yeah, so good, guys. Oh gosh, oh, it's so good. Trying to pinpoint the added ingredients that you put into the pork, and I do sense a more complex, a more layered flavor to the meat in general, because you added that citrus that incorporates a bit of acid into the overall flavor profile. And the oregano, well, it's super aromatic. So yeah, I think it's an improvement. That added step going from the pressure cooker to the Dutch oven to brown the meat, you get that Maillard reaction where the meat starts to sear and you get that extra flavor, extra layer and complexity of flavor in there. And you get a little bit of crunch on the side too, just tiny. You don't want to burn the meat. I can't wait to dig into the rest of them. And it's not like we're paying $4 a taco here. We can just chow down until food coma comes.
All right, thanks, dude. Don't feel like you have to follow every recipe to a T. There are going to be ingredients that you don't like or ingredients that you like. And so, you know, it doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not you like it. It doesn't matter if it's authentic or not. All right, guys, the paperback for the new cookbook is coming out soon. We are just waiting for our proof copy to go through one last time. And once that's been approved, it will be available on Amazon. Meanwhile, for more recipes simple just like this one, check it out and I will see you over there.